Hi guys, welcome back to the vlog. Today I am so excited. We are all packed up and ready to go, and it's setup day. We're about to go and get all set up and ready for GalaxyCon. It's happening. I'm freaking out. We're doing it. I'm gonna try and show you guys as much of the process as possible. My husband has a rig that's gonna show me a little bit. We're gonna try and show some of like the whole thing, but I think a lot of that is gonna end up with like voiceover or music or something, because there's DJs, I think there's a lady who like playing music with a flute. That feels crazy, but it's also, there's going to be thousands of people. That is what is expected, but I am very excited. So we're gonna go get set up, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're all set up and ready for Friday. Friday is day 1, so this is day 0. Show you before everybody gets here. Shh. The space. This is what the space behind looks like.
So what lays flat?
I've got my organizational box and all my stuff underneath the table.
Give me your next one.
So if you're thinking about doing cons, you know what kind of space. They've taped it off so that this is our space. Okay guys, so it's been a couple of days since GalaxyCon. There's always a couple of days where you need to recover, because it's you're standing basically and up and down and talking to people. Like Monday, I swear I had no voice at all. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of the con. It did not go as planned. But not just for me, for all the other vendors, for a good portion of the vendors. It did not go as expected. For some, I probably would have called it a flop. And that is terrible. That's terrible news. A lot of these people, this is their livelihood, and they go into big cons like this expecting to make money. And a lot of people for a 3-day weekend didn't even make table fee. And I feel terrible for them. Or made table fee right at the end. And it was like, you shouldn't, at a big event like that, you shouldn't still be pushing for table fee on day 3. So I count myself lucky that I made table fee and a little bit extra. But so for a 3-day weekend, I still made more at the winery at the beginning of the month. So, yeah, not as expected. And disappointment is not the right word for it, because like I think I had built it up too much in my head, but hearing how all the other vendors and artists did made me feel better, because like day one, I knew Friday, going into Friday would be a slow day. There's people still at work. There wouldn't be, Friday is the cheapest day just because they want to get people in there and stuff like that. So it was a slow day. But to leave Friday evening, but it was still like it's still a 6-hour day. We were there from 2 to 8. To leave after a 6-hour day and still hadn't made table fee, which is $325. That's a lot for a table fee, because usually at the little craft fairs, they're like 50, maybe 100. The winery is 200. But like I said, I get a premium spot. So, but like I didn't come, and I left thinking like, is it me? Is it my stuff? And then as we went into Saturday morning, I didn't really have to do much adjustment. I did change things around just so there were different things to look at. But I got a chance to go around and talk to some of the other vendors and artists and things like that. And they all had the same like vibe from the day before. Like they expected it to be slow, but not that slow. And so it was not a good weekend for anybody. Like I said, I kind of count myself lucky because Saturday I did make some money, but then Sunday was slower than Friday. I had less sales and I made less money than I did on Friday. And again, Sunday is one of those days that it's when you have a multi-day event, you expect Sunday to be a little bit slower. Like Saturday is the day that you make a good portion of your money because that's when everybody wants to go. Usually the ones on Sundays are the people who have like 3-day tickets and they're coming around just to make their final purchases and stuff like that. And so, but like I said, I made less money than I did on Friday, and that's saying quite a lot. So I'm not out any money, and I just have to count myself grateful for that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta look at the positives because there were a lot of negatives for the weekend. There were some artists that got things stolen, and I'm glad that didn't happen to me. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I mean, at least nobody stole anything from me. If you count that as people were stealing, but I had one of the artists I talked to, said that the autographs were really expensive. The ticket was really expensive. And there were a couple of other things that were really expensive. And so by the time the people got to us, they had no money left. And yeah. So there were a lot of theories going around of why it didn't do as well as it did. There's no telling what which ones played the bigger part to why it didn't go as well. So I'm still up in the air of whether I'm going to do the GalaxyCon next year. Somebody said that when GalaxyCon comes to a new area for the first time, does a new city for the first time, they haven't learned how to advertise in the area, so it's been a flop every single time they've went. And so you go back in a couple of years and they've got it nailed down and they figured it out. But for me, it's like, so if you've ever been to any GalaxyCon where it's established, it is a big event, and I mean thousands of people. It's like, why are you still having troubles going to new cities when you do this a lot? You know what I mean? Like the one out in Raleigh, North Carolina. I don't know where that one is. I think maybe it's beginning of June. But it's a really big event. And so it is what it is. We're going to move forward, and I'm going to take some time and figure out what needs to happen next, because I was so excited and I expected to make a lot more money and I didn't. So, but let's get into what I did sell. We made this fancy little list while we were doing it. So, but I kind of consolidated it into like highlights for you. So I do sell a lot of the Pokemon. I sold 7 of those, which is on the lower side. For me, but I sold 2 axolotls. I think I had like 8. I sold 3 out of 5 possums. I almost made a bunch more because people love the possums. I sold 3 out of my 5 slashers. I sold 2 little mushrooms. So if you watch my prep video, I made little leggy, I'm calling them leggy mushrooms. I sold 2 of those. Because it's real close to June is Pride Month. So I make all the different pride flags and beads. And those sell a lot. So I sold 3 of those. I sold, I'm not going to list all the different characters, but of course the characters in my little body were the most thing that I sold. I sold 15 of those. So I think I sold almost all of my Hero Academia ones, which was good. There were a lot of people in My Hero Academia cosplay. I had made a lot of Demon Slayer, and I saw a lot of people in Demon Slayer, but I only sold 1 of them, and I was very surprised by that. I sold both of my Deadpools, both of my Ariels, because if you've watched my other videos of me prepping for it, Jodie Benson was there, which is the original voice for Ariel in the original Disney cartoon. So I made those, and I sold both of those. But then my favorite character that I sold was Alice, and I sold her right at the very end. We were right about to start packing up, and if you do markets and stuff like that, you're getting to that last hour and you just start pulling things. What can I consolidate to make the closeout process go faster? You know what I mean? But she came and she was just so excited by my Alice. I love Alice in Wonderland. I bought a bunch of art from Alice in Wonderland that was Alice in Wonderland themed, not from Alice in Wonderland, my brain. So I sold 3 Pop-Tarts, which is crazy. I only sold 2 turtles. I sold 3 out of my 5 Perry the Platypus, which is not surprising at all. And then I sold 3 Drift the Octopus. I sold 3 of those. I think I had 6 of those. And I had my Anchor the Octopus. So I put footage of what I could get. Like I said, it was very slow and there wasn't a lot to see without going around and showing everybody, all the different artists' individual booth. And if you like that sort of thing, put it in the comments and I will be happy at my next one to go around and show what the different tables are. I'm still getting used to doing those things. I had Anchor the Octopus up there, and of course Anchor's job is to pull people in because he has a high price tag. I did almost sell him, but they just couldn't pay that much, which I understand. But then, oh, he's so cute, but he's so expensive. I do have little ones, and they're like, oh, yay! So they buy the little ones. That happens every market. So, yeah. And then, of course, at a Comicon, the stickers, the prints, and the keychains were very popular. There were a couple of people who bought my plushie Pokemon and then bought the keychain, the sticker, and the print that went along with it because so I think for my next one, which is Pokebest, we're going to make little kits with the print and the keychain and the sticker in it, and then I'm gonna make little mini baby evolutions. So, because most of them were evolutions. So, yeah, that's how it went. Like I said, a little bit of a disappointment, but we're going to look at the positives and we're going to keep moving forward. Next one I have is Pokefest. This is at the end of July. So I have some other things we're going to make. I have weighted buddies that I'm making. Shh. We're not going to get into this because you have to wait for that video for me to finish that video. But isn't he cute? So I'm going to make another weighted plushie video. And then I've got some other things, and then we'll get back into, I'll show you some more prepping. Every market and every con I've done, there's always, you come away from it with some adjustments and growth, and that's what you should do. So that's all I have for you today. That's all the chaos that we have. And we'll see you next time. Bye.